The views and opinions of this podcast are solely our own, with no direct intention to offend or upset.
Brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of What's the Script, which is the very, very Scottish movie review / little bit of comedy podcast. We enjoy it and we hope you do too. I'll stop talking like that now. My name is Craig, and with me, as always, my equal bampot, Christopher. How are you, sir?
Aye, oh, tickety-boo and ready to go and all that stuff, you know.
You said the thing, you said the thing.
Should I really start calling this fucking podcast Tickety-boo?
Listen, rebrand coming in Series 6. Excuse me.
Tickety-boo Chronicles.
Oh, I'll eat that. That could be a side plot we could do. And a special episode for our Patreon. It's the Tickety-boo Chronicles. It's just us records talking shite for half an hour. That'd be good. Christ, would you say do that right at the start and then delete it off? But maybe that's something we could do in the future. Anyway, I digress. Very warm welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the shares, the likes, the feedback of the last couple of weeks. It's been excellent. It's been very prevalent in the downloads audibly, I should say. For the results we're getting back from Wall Street and the knocks at our door for big companies and conglomerates wanting to throw money at us, but we're not doing that.
We're going public, people.
No, listen, we've had our chat, we're like, no, we're for the street. We're like Jenny for the block, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what we do have is obviously the privilege of having Native Origins on board with us, who, again, are very imminently going to be going live with their brand of sport and leisure wear, top quality gear. Think like Castore and above. And I know some Castore stuff is garbage, but the stuff that isn't sold in your club shop seems to be of premium quality. So it's kind of on a par and above that. So look forward to that coming. And of course, to our boys at Quaint, who are still strumming the axe and yodeling at the microphones. Thank you for our title tracks. You can find us on all the social platforms as always: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the TikTok, as we like to call it, the TikTok. Big jock there, the TikTok. Correct there, Percy. How's the TikTok doing,
You again,
Chris?
Percy. Oh, I don't know, it's 238 or something.
Oh!
Well, it's climbing like a enthusiastic toddler.
Stratospheric, that is. It's climbing like Peter up that monument in Spider-Man Far From Home, or whatever the hell it's called. Then he gets up there and realises it's awfully high.
Well, little discussion, mate. I need to start making TikToks. Have you listened to What's the Script? Well, here's another thing you can buy. It's a wee toothbrush with a screwdriver on the end of
it. Hi, guys! They always started like that, didn't they? Hi, guys, look at this blanket. I would never have believed that blanket would have kept me warm on a cold day. You can get it too for under £9. £8.99. They don't tell you it's about £4 or £5 to ship it, but you know what I mean?
I know. What bastards.
I will say that the Facebook page is up to 316 people. Thank you very, very much. YouTube, at my last look, was 309 subscribers. And obviously, Chris is on the X. He's running things there at over 1,800 wee souls that are tuning in and touching themselves with every post that he posts. Isn't it, mate?
Oh, so many.
And lastly, a big shout out, as always, to our fellow indie podcasters who are not part of a faction. Oh, listen, you know that's with love. Oh. The guys are Seismic Cinema. Seismic Soccer is no more. Oh, Don't know what happened there. Diabolical podcast. Well done, guys. And the big fast boys. They're throwing out two parties. You know what I mean?
Aye. I was kind of at a loss. Like, oh, I hope that's not off with Darkman there. And
Aye.
there it was. Boom. Right for the hip.
I was at work doing Windies listening to it quite happy, and it just cut off on another podcast. I'm like, whoa, what's happened? But it was a two-parter. I never read the brief, you know what I mean? So what have you been up to, mate? What have you been watching? Anything to tell us about that's been in your eyes and in your ears?
Oh, well, I'll give you my recent watches.
Mm-hmm.
Since we were doing the film we're doing today, I stumbled across World War Z, or Z, whatever you might call it. Know what I mean?
Love the start of that movie.
I see if you watch it, there's a woman standing at the bus stop, and it's the same Glasgow bus stop. See the wee symbol, and I'm going,
they forgot to do it.
That gate there.
Forgot to do it, the bastards.
I watched Flight as well with Denzel Washington. It's a smashing film, that.
Amazing.
Aye. It's a right look at addiction, that film.
Brilliant.
Aye. For some reason, I put on Passengers and all with Chris Pratt and
the only female action hero ever known to cinema.
Aye.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence. I don't know why I thought it was something else to it, but I put it back on and I'm like that. When does the good bit happen? But it was Titanic in space, wasn't it? So
aye. By the way, you made a good point there. I watched it. I remember kind of liking it, but I don't remember much after he wakes her up. I know they fall out because obviously I had a fell out with my gnaw. You done what? But I don't remember Endgame on it, but I'll maybe watch that later. What else?
Aye. I also watched the wee British classic that is Four Lions. Smashing film. It's
remind me.
It's one. It's about there's a couple of British Muslims, and they want to create their own terrorist cell in Britain. No, you need to watch it, mate. It's like a film for me. It is so fucking good, man. It is. It would have been on my list today, but we would have been fucking headhunted.
All right.
Know what I mean? The world back then was ready to fucking laugh, but no now for some reason. But I says to you off camera, I watched Legion, and today I watched the Brad Pitt George Clooney one, Wolves.
Oh,
it was okay.
Good write-up.
It was okay. So I think they were just trying to recapture the Ocean's 11 chemistry, but it wasn't the same sort of thing. So, but I'd say to people to watch it because it is all right. No, I mean it's not terrible.
They're good pals. I watched Clooney on Graham Norton. I don't watch Graham Norton because I don't have console telly, but I like his shorts on TikTok, and they were just telling about how him and Brad Pitt have had this running joke on another that they tell everybody lies about the other one, didn't they? And they believe them and stuff. I was like, that's pretty cool.
And lastly, like yourself, mate, I watched Mr. McMahon, and I enjoyed it. Know what I mean? Just shows you the fucking maniacal nature of that guy. Know what I mean? But he's made one of the biggest fucking businesses about, so he has his faults, but at the same time, that's fucking egotistical. It's got to go somewhere, innit?
But what is it? It says in every episode, and everybody that paraphrases him and talks about him has been wronged by him, and then like invited back in by him. They all say the same thing. It's just business. It's no personal. It is just business. And by the way, he does business very well, the man. I don't really know too much about what's going on with him now and why he left and all that jazz. I've seen the snippets at the end and stuff, but I've not been following it or don't know how deep he is in badness, you know what I mean? But business-wise, flawless, man.
Aye. Took that to different places, you know what I mean? And I mean, I've been to a night where we all went to watch wrestling, you know what I mean? Live, but in Glasgow. You know what I mean? So it's that big a business, you know what I mean?
But we've all stayed up to daft o'clock watching a WrestleMania, haven't we? We've all done that.
Aye. But there's people out there that kid on the Disney, know what I mean? And you go like that. You prick. I remember you dressing up as The Rock at Halloween.
I'll tell you what, I would much rather watch a WrestleMania than watch what I fell out of love with these days, and that's mainstream boxing. It's just garbage.
Aye. It's aye. But enough of what I've been watching, mate. With you, filled your eyeballs with.
My eyeballs. Not a lot. I never did manage to get onto my wee Thor marathon that I'd been looking forward to after Captain America last week. But I watched, like you, Mr. McMahon. I'm still nearly on series 3 of The Rookie, which is just so good. I love it. Big Nathan, man. Can't whack him. I started the new thing on Disney Plus, Grotesquerie, and that's pretty interesting, pretty dark, pretty morbid, pretty gory. Only 2 episodes have dropped so far, so I might leave that to its entirety because it's very engaging. I would suggest you give the pilot a wee watch. Obviously, I watched the film we're currently going to be doing right now. For the first ever time, the boys, I don't know why they requested to watch this, but I watched it with them. Inside Out 1 and 2. And I know Inside Out 2 has went mega in the box office and that, but it's just, they're the poorest Disney released cartoon animations that I've seen in a long time. And I've seen them all, by the way. You know what I mean? My boys have just turned 6. I've seen them all. And Inside Out 1 and 2 is not good. I don't like them. And on your recommendation, mate, I started watching Pandorum. But I was absolutely shattered. I fell asleep halfway through it. As I said, it's very weird, very indie, very dark, and hundreds of questions about it. So I'm going to watch the other half of that. But I do like what I've seen so far. I'm just like, what's that? What's going on here? There's questions to be answered here. So I'll maybe watch that tonight when I've been the messages from my mammy. But apart from that, mate, no, didn't watch much else. I've been busy. It was my boy's birthday weekend and all that, so we were out doing stuff with them. And that's it. Not a great deal of watching this week at all. Neither of us.
Aye. But it was enough watch to make it an interesting talk there.
It was for a wee while.
You'll start laughing anyway, mate. As soon as you watch the second half of that Pandorum, that's when you see real space dementia. None of that fucking carry on. Oh, I'm just going to start shooting a gun.
I needed this space dementia. I think I'm right in maybe having worked it myself that these blue cannibal dudes were passengers that have got space dementia. Am I right? Aye.
So.
But anyway, moving swiftly on, folks. This is episode 10 of series 5. It was my pick of the Chris Ness lottery film card last week, and I managed to pick a steesher. That's an old word. A steesher means a belter.
Oh, steesher.
Oh, it's a pure steesher. And it was a 2002 classic, I will say. I think it's a classic. 28 days later. Chris, it was on your list. Tell us a bit about it and why you like it so much.
Well, it was a turn for the books, I would say. I'll see it as a zombie film in Britain. You know what I mean? We didn't often get him because I'd be curious how it would happen in Britain because unlike our cousins across the water there, they've all got guns and all that, know what I mean? Whereas we would need to fucking man the claw hammers. Know what I mean? So it was interesting to see something for you to look into perspective. Plus, it wasn't a pure Hollywood zombie film, if you know what I mean. It wasn't like a grand scale. It just felt horribly realistic. So, but it's well like the film. It's got a bit of a following these days. And 2000. That's not what happened in 2002, but
steal my thunder there. I was wanting to ask you what else, mate, in 2002, not 22 years ago, was going on with our planet. Let's go by the year. Let's go to the year Let's go to the year of the film. Over to you, Chris.
It was quite interesting what happened. It was good for the telly and all that. I'll say that. The Osbournes premiered on MTV. Anybody that watched that? I was one of them. Guilty watching Mad Ozzy. Sharon! It's fucking.
Okay, dog shit in the carpet again, Sharon.
Sony and Microsoft introduced online gaming for the PS2 and Xbox. And we've seen where that's fucking went. Know what I mean? There's people in the gaff that run a bit like robots now. Elon Musk founded SpaceX. Know what I mean? And that's came on leaps and bounds.
Wow.
The Wire debuted on HBO. It was also the World Cup in Korea and Japan. All my favourite World Cup. Know what I mean?
Was that your favourite?
I don't know if that's an age thing, but because I was asking my pals this. What would you say is your favourite World Cup?
I tell you, 90.
So that's what I mean.
School thing.
You don't like each one. Know what I mean? It's mental.
I think that's the last time I genuinely was buzzing and looking forward to it and thirsty for a World Cup. It's the last time I remember it feeling like a world event. You know what I mean?
No, I mean that's kind of the same with me. It was also the year that the Boston Globe published its findings of child abuse by the Catholic priests, and it kicked off the whole sway of things. Anybody that's seen the film Spotlight know what we're talking about. And which I found was really interesting, so I wrote this down. Top Gear premiered on BBC just as the Grand Tours kind of finished there, know what I mean?
What?
Apparently, Top Gear premiered on the BBC.
Well, I would suggest Top Gear has been around a lot longer than 2002, but
well, apparently it was Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and there was another guy there who was then replaced by Richard Hammond.
That's right. Proper Top Gear. Top Gear started in 2002.
So there you go. As for films, there was a right few belters. You had Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. You had Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. You had Signs, The Ring, Gangs of New York, Die Another Day, 8 Mile, and Attack of the Clones. Just a wee scattering of a wee variation there, you know.
Oh, they're belters then.
As for the songs, you'd Lose Yourself by Eminem, which actually ended up getting him an Academy Award, funny enough. Right. You get How You Remind Me by Nickelback. In the end, Linkin Park. Complicated by Avril Lavigne. Hero by Enrique Iglesias. Get the Party Started by Pink. And I've got to get through this with Daniel Bedingfield.
Oh, bum, 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 bum. I gotta get to the. I'm gonna get to the.
Special mention to that, mate. As it is, I wrote that down.
I've got a lot of time for Daniel Bedingfield, man. You're still, if you're not the one, I fucking love that song. Nearly died, the boy. Nearly died in a car crash or something.
As for deaths, it was a bad day for
who did we lose? Who did we lose?
Who went to the fucking morgue? We had Princess Margaret died. The Queen Mother died. Richard Harris died. Waylon Jennings died. And James Coburn died. So there's a few people went there. I was Dumbledore went there, you know.
I thought Richard Harris was much later than that. There you go. I think maybe just because the Seismic Boys were talking about him in their last podcast, but and he was in what did we do? The Unforgiven, wasn't he? English Bob or something.
Aye, English Bob. Just a wee quick rundown of the Academy Awards. Denzel Washington won Best Actor for Training Day. Halle Berry won Best Actress for Monster Ball. Ron Howard won Best Director for Beautiful Mind, and Best Film was A Beautiful Mind. So,
tell you what, man, that's Training Day. Boom, brilliant. One of the best films I've seen in my life, man. Just Denzel's amazing in it, by the way. But
You
beautiful mind.
motherfuckers.
Aye, beautiful mind as well. But I mean, just shows
Oh,
you,
aye.
with a span of 2 years, Russell Crowe was just at the peak of his powers. Gladiator and then Beautiful Mind and all that. We didn't.
Aye.
I'll say it before, I'll say it again. We didn't know we were born, mate. We didn't know we were born at all.
Aye, so there was plenty of fit tapping, plenty of eyeballed goodness, and people dying. So
After all the good times, we got the black tie out. There you go. But also in 2002, as we've mentioned, was the release this Danny Boyle, again classic that we didn't know we needed until we watched it, probably sometime after a midnight on Channel 4, called 28 Days Later, mate.
Oh, aye. Aye. As for budgets, mate, it was $8 million. And it brought in a hefty sum of 84.6 million. So,
oh, they made it rain.
Caviar all round, caviar on toast.
What would you like in your pizza, Cillian? I'll have pheasant and gold leaf, please. Yeah. That's amazing. That's some markup. You know what I mean?
Oh, aye. Crazy money.
1,000%.
Obviously directed by Danny Boyle and written by Alex Garland, who's been doing his own films recently. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think he was behind Civil War, maybe. So
I couldn't tell you, but I know he has been doing his own things and all that kind of stuff. Who was in it, mate?
Oh, I've wrote a list here. Obviously, we've got Cillian Murphy there, Niomi Harris, Christopher Eccleston, Brendan Gleeson, Megan Burns, David Schneider, Noah Huntley, Luke Mabley, Stuart McQuarrie, Ricky Harnett, Leo Bill, and Ray Pantaki. I just stopped there because I think that's the soldiers. That's really the main players there. Know what I mean?
Oh, you've done about 4 or 5 more than me, mate.
Aye, because I wasn't going to write them all down, but see, as the film goes, obviously the soldiers at the end become more prevalent. Know what I mean?
Aye.
So
they do. They do indeed. That's for true.
wait, what's your name? Squadron Rapey.
I don't know if you wrote it down, mate, but the IMDb was 7.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is 87%, which is awesome. So good scores in the doors right off the bat, aren't they?
Aye. Well, that says, mate, it's got a following. Know what I mean? Because we were talking the other day, wasn't it? But I think next year, 28 years later, is coming. So that'll be curious to see. But aye, it's got a bit of a following though.
Definitely. In actual fact, I read that 28 weeks later is a big reason. Obviously, that's the follow-up, as we know. A lot of people didn't really know about 28 Days Later until they watched 28 Weeks Later, realised it was a follow-up, they went back and watched 28 Days Later. So it's got a right good cult following. And as you kind of mentioned earlier, I think this gave birth to the British zombie run, where people would just like rent car parks and areas in Britain for 24 hours and let people dress as zombies and scare the bejesus out of people.
Aye. What it says, mate, because I think it's the first one to my knowledge where zombies are in Britain. Know what I mean? And they're technically no zombies, but at the same time, they fucking are. Know what I mean? It's the formula. But aye, that's what I think made it kind of that plus seeing London absolutely dead. Know what I mean? I think kind of hurt people a bit more. Know what I mean? Because if you're there as he walks about in London, if you've been to London, you kind of get fucking moving. So the fact that they were stone dead, know what I mean? No traffic in a place where they charge people for congestion. Know what I mean?
And every one of these shots was a one-shot deal because obviously you can only shut bits of London for so long. I think they had like 15, 20 minutes for some areas and all that, and it's amazing to look at, isn't it?
Aye. It's one of my highlights for it. You see just obviously Cillian Murphy waking up at a coma. I mean, if anybody's not seen this, a virus has struck Britain and where man Jim, aka Cillian Murphy, wakes up after being in a coma to discover that fucking the apocalypse has really happened into it in Britain. But
Mhm.
aye, like walking about London, not a soul, walking London Bridge and all that, and hee haw. Aye, it's memorable, as they say.
Aye, it captures you right off the bat. I don't. Again, I watched this for the first time in a long time. I didn't remember the whole start, the lab and the monkeys. I didn't remember that
Mm.
at all. I just remember turning this on, seeing him waking up and walking about London and thinking, "Oh, I'm into this. What's going on?" Do you know what I mean? Just so engaging,
Yeah.
man.
See, that's the thing. See, before we go any further, primates or monkeys or whatever the bracket is that they all fit in, they're going to be the end of humanity. It's not going to be Terminators. It's not going to be AI. It's not going to be nuclear war. It's going to be monkeys. Because there, you've got this, you've got the Planet of the Apes, you've got that film Outbreak, you've got King Kong fucking kicking off every so often. Know what I mean?
Aye,
It's Pongo. Know what I mean? It's nah. They've got to watch these cunts.
aye. And I'll tell you what, seeing the real world, if you keep putting the price of bananas up, I know they're going to go after nuts, man. Just lose a plot.
Oh, the potassium wars. You fought the potassium wars? I did.
made the banana run in less than 12 parsecs.
Oh, but because it's quite fucking, it's horrible that bit at the start, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't really, like most zombie films, you don't see how it actually kicked off, know what I mean? But you see this thing and it's fucking, ah, I mean, she's still, that woman's still expected to show up at work the next morning, by the way. I don't care if you're bleeding for the eyes. You'll be in here at 8.
That daft wee jolly lassie, know what I mean? Just let them out. The guys just told you, don't let them out. They're no well. One
That's
bite,
it,
one bit
aye.
of saliva, one scratch. And
Yeah.
that lends itself to this as well. It's not a case of getting bit in this prolonged process of somebody changing. It's like World War Z in it, 5 seconds or something.
Aye.
You just
Yep.
start spasming, and again, you're correct. They're no zombies, they're infected. I like the eyes, man. I like the big red eyes and all that. Didn't
They're
see enough
freaky
of
as fuck. Because really, it's no a disease, really. It's you're being infected by a rage.
it. Mm-hmm.
Because apparently that's what Danny Boyle and Alex Garland were trying to get across to people that living in life, you get fought with rage. You know what I mean? Stuff going on in the world, you're fought with rage. And it's not really dealt with like a medical sort of thing, you know what I mean? So it just infects and spreads. Which you might have a fucking point because there is people out there that just fucking get that angry one day and just go, kill air.
Aye, or turn into Michael Douglas, start getting in shooting up places and all that, you know what I mean? Aye, we're all suppressing a bit of rage, I think. It's a good message to put behind the actual pathogen, you know what I mean?
Aye. But like you says, mate, the red eyes. Plus, see this, mate. But I know I said last week, but zombie films, it kind of changes zombie films as well, this. Because I always thought when I was younger, right? See, there's a zombie apocalypse. All you need to do is get a wee jog and you're away for these cunts. You could run around and just start bopping them on the head. See this?
Aye.
Nah, these things are right up your ass. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Usain Bolt up your ass, know what I mean?
There's a good bit of trivia about that as well. I mean, it says here athletes were cast as the infected because of how important physicality is to them. Danny Boyle felt that since athletes can do things that other people can't, it'd be interesting when translated into the moments of the infected. So you're right, man. these infected zombie people can do the 100-yard dash quicker than Linford Christie, vault motors and all that, you know what I mean? You're like, no.
Exactly. I remember watching because that was one of the things that stuck with me as well. I was like, all right, it's a zombie film. I don't really need to worry about it. And then you see that bit at the church. Know what I mean? He's getting chased, and these things are fucking chasing after him. You're going, oh no, hold on now. you've switched this.
I see when he's in the church, right? And I suppose he thinks everybody's dead because they're all got their back to him. And for the 47th time, he goes, "Hello." That was annoying me right at the start. "Hello, hello." You see the way the two just turn around like, huh. I'm like, oh no, he's no well, that boy. I don't like that.
You're a creepy bastard.
And then what he does brilliantly from a director's point of view is it doesn't show him running up. You just hear him bolting up the stairs, the footsteps. You're like, move. He's not coming up here to give a cuddle. Move.
Aye. Something has went awry here, Jim. It's best not to stand still.
Aye.
But even that bit, the creepy priest comes through the doors and all, but in it is a bit fucking. Oh, here. He stood there a lot longer than I would have stood, put it that way. Know what I mean?
Because he had a bag of cans, mate. Bag of cans.
All he needed was Brendan Rodgers back.
Aye. As openings go for movies, it just grabs you by the throat and says, "Watch this," because it's very interesting, and it really, really was. You said about Danny Boyle and Gatland having a good bit of research about social unrest, because it says here they actually drew ideas from things that happened in Rwanda and Sierra Leone, such as the piling of bodies inside churches. So there you go. But they drew a line at using any actual footage from such incidents in the opening montage, which is probably about right.
Yeah.
All footage featuring dead bodies, desecration of bodies was, of course, faked. Thanks for that, guys.
Yes. Because they kind of based the disease itself off Ebola. Know what I mean?
Ebola, so that was rife in there.
So it's I know it's fake, but it's also a wee bit realistic there. Know what I mean?
Aye, I mean we didn't even mention it before the monkey at the laboratory scene. There was like real footage for the news, wasn't there? Just like rioting and all that kind of stuff.
Aye, everything bad happening in the world, just poisoning these poor wee monkeys. Know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Caesar and all that. Know what I mean? They're all getting brainwashed by the absolute rage. But aye, what I was going to ask you, mate, right? Boyle filmed this with a specific kind of camera to make it look more gritty and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if it's because my posh eyeballs have been watching like 4K and full HD and all that stuff, know what I mean? But it kind of annoyed me watching it back that it looked like a home movie.
Aye.
No, to be disrespectful, but it did.
I totally know what he was going for, but that was the only kind of thing that dated the film for me. It did. It looked as if it was an old, like you say, home movie, mate. Home movie. I expect there's a particular, because again, I'm like, is it my telly's just too big for the stream I'm watching or something like that? But again, there's a bit right at the start when Jim's going to cross London Bridge and he turns back and it's sunny, but it looks pixelated and horrible. It didn't really capture the background and all that, didn't it? No.
Nah. I mean, they say there was benefits, but like it was going for the gritty feel to it sort of thing. And I suppose first time watching it,
could have spliced it, but
aye. But he says it was also the fact that they could set up in a couple of minutes and get something filmed, which Lewis says they were able to shut a couple of roads of London and all that for a short period of time in the early hours in the morning to get what they needed, sort of thing. So I suppose it worked that way, but it was just bits when I was watching it again, I'm going, I don't remember it being that bad when I first watched it, which means other things must have been similar. Mm-hmm. But now, like I say, I don't know if it's just because you've been treated to ultra HD stuff, know what I mean? That you go, oh, that's fucking, know what I mean?
No, you're right. I get it. It's not a criticism. It's just a preference, isn't it?
Aye.
I mean, you're talking again about shutting down things so they could set up very quickly. I think the biggest one that I've wrote down here was for the scenes on the motorway. The production got permission to shoot on the M1. Now, the M1 has never been without a motor on it since it was built. It's in fact, it's a traffic jam. It's been a traffic jam for 60 years. but they managed to get it closed on a Sunday morning between 7 and 9 a.m. The police gradually slowed traffic in both directions. Well, it wasn't a holiday weekend. And using 10 cameras, the filmmakers managed to capture a total of 1 minute of usable footage. That is a big operation. I would imagine that a lot of that £8 million budget went on that 1 minute of footage.
Oh, aye. Like you say, anybody that's been on it, that road's never been empty and it's puff. You know what I mean?
See, since we're talking about cinematography, let me just get back here. It was done by Anthony Dad Mantle. That's a funny name. Who's obviously done a great job with the backdrops and stuff. And like we were saying there, maybe the use of the camera that was used didn't do that justice, right? Fair enough. But there was some things that I picked up on that I hadn't picked on before. And it was the use, there's a lot of use of reflection in this movie. Reflection off of windows and reflection off of cars and like clouds moving in the taxi window and all that, as if it's just to remind you that there's life. And there's always a flock of birds somewhere as well. Just wee things like that I picked up on, which I normally don't, but because there's a lot of silence.
It's no all over sort of thing. You know what I mean? There's still the world's ticking here, but no user having a hard time, but the world's fucking moving on. You know what I mean?
Aye. Because there's like a bit when it kind of after the church, it runs into Cillian and your man that's known it very long pretty quickly, didn't they? And that's impressive. That whole couple of infected guys running after them on fire, leading to that big explosion, which is really done well as well.
Because apparently that was another thing that they thought they'd like told everybody about. We're going to explode this petrol station, and then somebody forgot to tell the police.
Oh,
so this thing went fucking boom, and then I think they all descended on the zone. You know what I mean? Like that. No, we've got a permit. We've got a permit.
Aye, you just imagine that one Bobby turning up, can't you? Hello, sir. Having a bit of trouble, are we, sir? Danny boy. Sorry, officer. Thought someone had told you. You know what I mean? What we like, eh? Didn't need petrol, did you?
Talk about shutting down other stuff. The hospital as well. Apparently, they found a hospital they shut at weekends. And apparently,
you know what
I mean?
I waited to the day. Used any hospital in Britain.
But apparently the money they would have paid on rent, they donated to the hospital fund. You know what I mean? So, see that as well. Do you think that scene inspired The Walking Dead?
Very much so. So much so, I was going to say it about 10 minutes ago and it went right out of my head. The Jim waking up stuff.
Cillian Murphy's wee Willie.
Oh, his wee ginger pubes there. Seen them.
Aye. He's not got that anymore. I've seen Oppenheimer.
But again, I know, right? If you're looking to pick holes in it, this guy's been out the game for a month after a serious car accident, and I'm sitting there going like that. Apart from it, he's shaved bit of his head, so he's obviously had surgery in the side of his head, right? But I'm like, where's the stookies and the bruises and the. Why did you know expire when your drips ran out and all that? You know what I mean?
Aye. So there's also another wee bit you can nitpick it that when they're travelling, they find the one supermarket that's still got power. Know what I mean? I mean, that didn't fucking register with me. See all the other times I watched it, but doing this, I'm going, fucking leave it out.
Do you know, let's say that shopping trip, I was with them on that shopping trip. I was, what am I going to get? You know what I mean? I was, what was Daddy? And the only thing that spoiled that shopping trip was the wee daft music. But it's good. It's that kind of let's be human and have fun for 5 minutes in this apocalypse. You know what I mean? And it was great. I'm pretty annoyed at Big Frank only getting the 4 bottles of Black Label, but you know what I mean?
Exactly. What did you lift? Gravy granules. You did what?
I'll get Paxo. Stuffing, Paxo stuff. You can never get that, by the way. See Christmas, you'll be glad I got that.
Every time I'm in here, there's no Oxo cubes in stock. Fucking fault the suitcase with them. Oh.
Get pasta and toilet roll, because COVID's coming. Pasta and toilet roll, that'll be the first things to go. Bloody was an all in it. Mental, so it was.
Oh. But I had a wee shopping trip. A wee bit of escapism. And here, by the way, no, I read this. See, after the shopping trip, and they're all sitting down and they're all eating and having a good time and everything's normality and all that. And it's supposed to be a nice, wee, joyous part in the film, like you says.
I know what you're going to say.
See the day they filmed that, 9/11 was happening.
Aye.
Like, they hadn't even finished the scene and the building was still on fire, know what I mean?
Aye.
Which is pretty fucking...
It's surreal, isn't it?
Jailbait.
Very, very surreal.
It's fucking...
It's written down as saying...
What were you doing? Hey, I was enjoying myself.
Having a picnic. The scene where Jim and Selena celebrate with Frank and Hannah was shot on September 11th in 2001. Danny Boyle did say, and it felt extremely strange to shoot a celebratory scene on that particular day. You think, mate? Because, I just wrapped it for a day or... Weird. What was the other thing we watched that happened? No, I'm telling lies. We never watched it. It was me watching Scrubs. I like Scrubs. I've watched it a good few times. But I started listening to their podcast during COVID, and they said that they had to film through September 11th and all that as well. And they said it was the hardest thing they've ever done. But because of scheduling stuff that they were told by the studio to do it and all that. I'm like, oh, that's so that.
The whole world kind of fucking stopped. You know what I mean? But that is what it is. I just imagining that, seeing people, you're sitting there with Cillian Murphy. I remember I was doing a 9/11. I was out getting the papers and I came back and fucking that was horrible. What were you doing, Cillian? I was sitting in a field talking about how raisins were still juicy.
They're still nice. They're nice. But we'll sack that wee bit of morbid trivia, but it's interesting. It's very interesting.
Aye.
A good wee bit of trivia that I wrote down. Horror novelist Stephen King bought out an entire cinema so he could sit and watch this movie in New York City. He loved it that much. Boy,
that's no creepy.
Aye, he's not a creepy man, is he? I wonder what he dreams about at night, that guy.
I know, because you imagine sitting with him in the pub like that. Oh, you'll not believe what happened to me last night. He's like, I've got something to fucking tell you, by the way.
Oh, the strangest thing happened to me last night, Stephen. I bet it wasn't, but I'll let you go. On you go.
I was walking up the road last week and I swear, mate, I thought there was a clown in the sewer. Funny enough.
Aye, and did you get in? Did you float? You know what I mean? Tell us about who was meant to play the part of Jim. Did you write that down?
Oh, I did indeed. And I found it like... Because I knew about this, but I didn't... Well, apparently Ewan McGregor was to be first choice, right? And he couldn't do it for some reason. Don't know, it was scheduling or whatever. Because I think that's... Because him and Boyle apparently had a phone out. That's why Ewan McGregor wasn't in the beach.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
but they were also going to get Ryan Gosling to replace him.
I found that strange. What age was he? 12?
That's I thought awful young. But aye. Plus, Robert Carlyle won all. He was also first choice to play the Christopher Eccleston role, the commander, which is kind of worked out because Robert Carlyle is quite prominent in the second one. So
I don't remember a lot about the second one. I need to get that watched, actually.
Jeremy Reynolds in that. I think that was one of the first things I've seen Jeremy in. Aye.
Again, I'll need to watch that. In fact, maybe sack Pandora night and watch that instead. Depends how late I get back for the messages. You know what he has the rest of us.
Plus, he's not the only one. James McAvoy also auditioned for a role. He thought he was getting a bigger part, but it turns out he was auditioning to be a zombie. So,
oh well.
He never heard back.
Turned into a bit of a fucking dick anyway, isn't he? So get up, you, James. I think you're a good actor, but off camera, you're turning into a bit of a wank, to be honest with you. Forgot what you came for, mate. Drum Chapel. I remember you as a wee boy. Aye. So we had in this, obviously, Niomi Harris. And I know we've done another film with her in it. She's obviously Eve Moneypenny in the Daniel Craig James Bonds. Now, before the Daniel Craig James Bonds, I thought I'd never seen her in anything before. Obviously, I was wrong. You know what I mean? I was like, Moneypenny. Hello, him.
I'm sure I've seen her in other things, but they just don't come to mind. You know what I mean? I think maybe I've been in a lot of BBC stuff.
Probably, mate. Aye. She didn't quite reach the heights of Thandie Newton. You know what I mean? You took all the roles at that time. I like Thandie.
Aye, because for some reason there can be only one.
Aye. But I think the people that were cast, especially the main players, you know what I mean, were awesome. I thought the dubbing of Hannah's voice was very prominent, man, and that kind of didn't like that. But every wee lassie just had a pure terrible voice. I'd imagine she must have.
Where did you get that?
Right here, Dad. How's it going? Going to taxi round here, Dad. Yeah.
Don't like your time round our way.
What did they tell Brendan to do an English accent for an hour?
Well, I don't know, because I'm wondering, because Cillian Murphy going to keep his accent.
Excuse me.
No, I mean, and it's very prominent when he's talking about we don't have any cheeseburgers. Like, what? Nobody's ever said it like that in their fucking. Nobody in Ireland has said it like that.
No, he still went full Dubliner cock, but to be sure, we don't have any cheeseburgers there now. You bastard. Should have done that. I love that accent. But back to Niomi Harris. Sure, will you take a tin of cold beans there? Go on yourself. Go on. Niomi Harris, I think, played a great part. She has an arc in this, as we mentioned in a lot of films. She's the badass, doesn't trust MD. Death is death. Turns up through Jim, she sees the value of human life through Jim and Hannah and Frank. But at the very start, that bit in the shop, when they get back to the shop and they realise that our compatriot's been cut, it's just no messing about, I don't know.
She just chops him to fucking bits, man. Know what I mean? And it's. And then that's when she reveals that she's actually a trained chemist. And you're like that. I had you doing as fucking some mad schemer, know what I mean? Fucking the braves all wearers in fucking pajamas, know what I mean? Like that. You're a kid.
Fresh for the Jasmine Allen housing estate. Cooked in it all your wings to survive to this point.
But it's just kudos to again the writing and the character and all that, because like I says, she was like Michonne, know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of find out more about her, and you're going, oh, I'm not sure I like her, know what I mean? And then, like you says, cutting about with Jim, well, technically he's not been living through the 28 days where everything is fucking horrible, know what I mean? So
he's just out his bed, the boy. The physical acting for his face is awesome. It's just pure disbelief that he's actually just witnessed what's happened. I forgot about it as well. I thought she was... Something inside me says, and probably because I've watched The Walking Dead and other zombie films, something inside me says, oh, she's going to chop his arm off before the infection spreads. But then as soon as she says that second swing, I'm like, oh no. Oh no, he's away.
Oh, that lass is cutting lines like nobody's business.
Oof. No half,
But
man.
I hadn't seen that at all. Well, we've already mentioned how quick people turn with the rage virus, right? No, it's a horrible, sad scene and all that shit. But see, when Frank gets infected, I thought that was fucking superb, by the way. See, just you think, because again, zombie film, we've all got it in our heads. You need to get butt, you need to get scratched, a lot of blood and all that. He gets a drip for a dead body in his eye, and it fucking, again, happens like nobody's business.
Aye.
And you're going, oh shit.
Exactly. Aye. Amazing. Again, the camera angle from you're the blood drop, you know what I mean? Get into his
Aye.
eye was just great. Brilliant.
Aye. Aye, it's a wee heart wrenching fucking scene, obviously, because I like you, mate. I like Frank. Frank is good money. That's the thing we've adopted. He's good money.
Do you know
But
what I like about him, right? Because again, in other films that we've seen, the first person they usually befriend or hole up with turns out a bit of a vampot, didn't he? War of the Worlds is a perfect example. Do you know what I mean? When they get into
Aye.
that guy's basement and all that, and he just turns. Oh, you're a maniac, you.
His best mate's a light bulb.
Aye, but it's horrible because he knows right away and he's fighting it for like 7 or 8 seconds. Get that extra 3 seconds to tell Hannah to get away from him. And
Yeah.
then obviously as soon as he's turning round, you're like, oh no, and then all the machine guns start, don't they?
Aye. Aye, it was, like I say, mate, it was sad to see, but it was also kind of like how fucking easy it was to get turned. Know what I mean? Because you're thinking, as long as you avoid the affected, you're safe and all that. And then something like that happened, and you're back to it. Oh shit!
Aye. So we've talked a good bit about scenes and stuff like that, but any other favourite ones, mate, that stick out that we've not discussed?
Well, my outright favourite one, and I always look forward to seeing it whenever I watch the film, is when they're changing the tyre on the taxi in the tunnel. It is fucking anxiety with its arse, terrifying, atmospheric, is ticks all the boxes. It's, it's superb, man. You're just, again, anybody that's not seen it, they're going through this tunnel to get through the city and they bust a tyre. And while Hannah's down there changing she's jacking up the taxi, isn't she? Which I found fucking mental like that. Do you need to get into that? Right, okay. But it was that thing again. See when all the rats appear, and you're going, oh, what the fuck's disturbed them? And then you just start seeing the shadows of the infected running down, and they're running for the infected. And then there's this big fucking scream. You just go, oh, fucking.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant because you're kind of pre-warned that something's going to happen in this tunnel because they pull up just before it, didn't they? Because they're all thinking, should we get through here? And Jim says what everybody's thinking. This is a really shit idea. In fact, this is the shittiest idea of shit ideas. If shit ideas were ever invented, this is the shittest idea. It's the quickest way. Let's go. And I tell you, I'm surprised it's only a tyre that they burst.
Aye.
Because you can't really make it out what they're getting at. It's expected to be motors and debris and all that. But this taxi turned into a tank, man.
Aye. But you get so fucking paranoid at it. You get pure anxiety, like they're going to get caught because they're changing this tyre and they're just getting closer all the while the screams happening and the characters are all panicking and shouting and going, fucking hurry up. You know what I mean? Which is
especially right at the death because the 3 adults are holding the car up because the jacks collapsed, didn't they? And Hannah's been trusted to with all her wee 10-year-old strength to put these bolts back into the motor. And then just as they pull away, Frank just laughs like a maniac. I'm like, you mad bastard, you.
But you also get that good shot where they're just about to take off. And it's obviously the red light in the back of the taxi lights up. And it lights up this infected person's fucking face right at the back window. You're like,
Aye. You get a wee jump scare there because, like you say, you know they're coming. You see the shadows, you see the silhouettes, you hear the And that's all you need to see. You don't need to see their face. You don't need to see the gore. You don't need to see nothing. You just need to, something's coming. It's brilliant. And then just that flash of red, you're like, oh, you bastard, you.
Aye, man, it's I always look forward to it, man, because it's not even so much that it's like just see you don't even see the infected. It's the shadows on the wall, along with this big scream banner's obviously letting it, and it's just fucking the hair's standing up and all that, going, oh fuck.
Aye, it's chilling, mate. It's chilling. See, I meant to say, a thing I pissed myself laughing at, right? See, when they go into the tower block, which eventually leads to Frank's house. They're in Frank's flats, climbing the stairs, and he's knackered, and she's like, "Oh, because you've had sugar, you're crashing. You need a wee rest and all that." And then the infected get in. Jim's talking, and Selena goes, "Quiet!" As loud as she can. Quiet! It's infected. Quiet, you say? You've just burst my fucking eardrum, but you're shouting at me to be quiet? Come on now.
Aye. I clocked that on, I was like, yeah. Fucking aye. That and the one other one I completely forgot about, like scene wise, is obviously when they're in the big mansion at the end and the soldiers are infected. And Warren runs into the room Hannah was in, and she's hanging on with her fingertips on the back of his mirror. You know what I mean? As this infected fucking stares at itself in the mirror. I was like, oh, sleeping Hannah.
Little bit of poo came out there. Aye. That was another tense moment, man. It really was.
Plus, I think it was just smart and all because you're like, oh fuck, where's she going to hide? You know what I mean? And it's just this wee precarious fucking like a wee wobble and that's it done.
Plus the fact it was the first time she really cared in the last half hour because she was full of whatever volume or something. She just wasn't being a monkeys. I was like, oh, thank Christ you wisened up at the right time there, hen.
Aye. What about yourself, mate? Or have I hoovered them off you?
I did pick it. No, I didn't pick it. I had to written down. There's a lot. I think the whole opening gambit before Terry meet Frank, everything's just brilliant. You know what I mean? So there's a couple of wee bits I'll pick out rather than big scenes. When they go up to the roof and Frank's, and every bucket and pail and basin you can think of is on this tower block roof. There's no inches. You look at it and you're like that for 3 seconds before you realise that's for what? And then Frank just goes into this spiel. And then it's ended comedically by him saying, 11 days. 11 fucking days it's no rained. In London. Not England.
Aye.
In England it says.
Aye. Not in fucking England.
I know, I could just imagine that being a lot of Glaswegians' luck, you know what I mean? So there was that. I really enjoyed. And then there was a wee nod to when they get to Manchester. And they're all looking, and you can't see. But again, if you watch it again, you do see the reflection in the windscreen of the taxi. And they're all looking, and they're like, wow, a whole city. And then Frank just says, well, there's nobody there to put it out. And that's all they say. And then it takes you a wee while for them driving in, it pans off, and you just see the full city just alight. You're like, whoa.
Aye. And that was a premonition of 2008.
Manchester, Rangers are coming. Rangers are coming. Oh, James Patterson are not like that. Using our club as comedic effect. It's all right, James, it's the old club for laughing at. Not a new club.
No.
Oh, kidding. That's one for my Celtic supporting fans there. Ah, fucking old club, you bastards. So, aye. And then, what else can we say? Jim goes commando. That boy's took an arc. He's took a full one. In fact, he's took a 360 and then a 180. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
He's started off as a courier that got knocked down, was in a coma for a month, woke up a shite bag, caved in a Wayne's heat, and then more or less saves the day before Hannah steals the thunder right at the end, isn't he? It's good.
Aye.
The whole chases and action, all that, the mansion's brilliant.
He goes full Rick Grimes, didn't he? Just didn't he take him fucking 4 series, he's Rick Boy.
No, did it hell.
But
Aye.
even then, see, even when that's going on, see that bit of music, it's just associated with these films now as well. You know what I mean? I think it's called, is it In This House or something? In a Heartbeat, something along those lines. It's a smashing re-listen, so it is.
Aye. No, you've done your homework. I remember sitting listening to it at the time and going, like, that's been in hundreds of things, man. Hasn't it?
Aye. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a bloody dance version of it, I know.
Yeah, probably, mate. There always is. But you're right, mate. The Jim gone, half he's not at the end, just doing people in. I've even wrote down a bit. This, to my memory, I think it might have been the first time I seen somebody getting killed with somebody pushing their thumbs into their eyeballs.
Aye, it was good, wasn't it? It was good. Because I didn't think it was going to show you. And just as a kind of trading places as well, because just as much as Jim was in disbelief at her chopping up her pal, she is like, who are you? Because she actually thinks she might be infected and all, didn't she?
Aye. Aye, she's getting ready to club him again, little mate. But aye, just see the like I says, mate, I think it's the first time I'd seen something pure ultra violent. What?
Oh, it's just, you say she's about to club him and she stops. And mad Cillian, that was longer than a heartbeat, that there now. Just to say it like that, but I wanted him to say it like that.
Fucking the message in the PK Blinders. Like, you've killed him.
All right there. How's it going there? All right there, Arthur. By order of the Peaky Blinders. Arthur, you're an alky. Piss off. Shite bag. Speaking of lines, mate, did you write down some fabulous quotes? Because this did have some banging lines in it, didn't it?
Aye. I cut myself down to 2 because I was going to write fucking all sorts, know what I mean? But
aye,
I had the day one for Frank. So, because I thought it was fucking hilarious. But also damning, know what I mean? It was like pure doom. But it's when they're at the road and they don't think there's soldiers there. And he's not listening, sort of thing. And then it gets to the point he goes, "We have to go." And Selena goes, "Aye, we have to go." And he just cuts it off. Go fucking where?
aye. Abandon all hope. Know what I mean?
Aye.
I was so hopeful of getting to this wee radio message place, and there's nothing there.
Oh,
aye,
mate, it was just it tickled me, but at the same time, it was like fucking this. This poor cunt is fucking hanging on with his fingertips. Know what I mean? But in saying that, see what follows it after it. It's kind of fucking his end. Know what I mean? So, but and I'll say just one other one, right? It's stupid, but it fucking again I'd forgot all about it, and it just caught me laughing. It's when all the soldiers they're sitting down to have the dinner and all that. And Christopher Eccleston's like, "Oh, you've made a feast," and he has this fucking bit of omelette, and he goes, "Jones, when you were making this, did you not realise the eggs were off?" And he just goes, "I thought the salt would cover the taste, sir."
Aye. So you did know they were off, mate. Aye.
And he's got that, and Christopher Eccleston just goes, "Nah, get rid of it."
Aye. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
Superb, man.
I want to touch on Christopher Eccleston in a wee bit, but we'll get to that. There's some dialogue in this movie that isn't even said, which is great. I mean, when Jim's going up the church, he's going up the stairs, you can just make out on the wall in graffiti, and it says, "Repent, the end is extremely fucking nigh." Somebody to just get in that F-bomb, you know what I mean? With a biblical reference. That was excellent. And the other thing was, Jim obviously wants to go on his mum and dad's house and all that, and he goes, finds them in bed, they've taken their own lives, but they've left him a note, and the note's just very sharp and simple, isn't it? Jim's mother writes him, "With endless love, we left you sleeping. Now we're sleeping with you. Don't wake up. It's like that. Oh, oh, my head. Oh, no. Roasted it was. It was the roasted.
It's that KP roasted peanut.
Put another shrimp on the barbie. Don't know why I went Australian there. But that was powerful, wasn't it?
It was, man. It was very, very sad.
Mm-hmm.
Full of love, but very sad, wasn't
Very, very sad.
it?
One of the comedic, but no very funny, but it was funny at the time, is when obviously the soldiers have just unloaded on poor Frank. Get away from the body, get away from the body. And obviously they've got masks on. And just stands there, Jim, with this big mask on. And instead of saying, who are you, where are you going? He says, a man walks into a bar with a giraffe. They both get pissed. The giraffe falls over. A man goes to leave and the bartender says, oi, you can't leave that lion here. The man says, no, it's not a lion, it's a giraffe. And nobody laughs. And he just looks at them all and goes like, aye. Completely humorless. You two will get along.
Aye, that's like I say, mate, there's all sorts of, mate, even like Christopher Eccleston that you want to touch is he's got a couple of good like monologues, know what I mean?
Mhm.
Where he's telling Jim about the fucking he walked in and he caught Jones with a gun in his mouth and all that sort of thing, like there's no future and shit like that, know what I mean? And then it's like, we're waiting for the infected to die out, but then it's just you get 6 men here and just waiting to die after the infected have died, sort of thing, and you go, oh fuck, you don't really think of that.
Aye. So he's being truthful, he's being poignant, and he's telling them like it is, and then ends that monologue with, that's why when the woman arrived, it's given us all like optimism for hope.
Yep.
And the penny's still no drop with Jim Hinnett, no, like, what do you mean? And they're obviously want to procreate, aren't they?
Aye.
Just Christopher Eccleston's a great actor. He's for a long line of great actors in his family, but in this, he's a flawed maniac again, isn't he? It's that calm, that British calmness. That's why a lot of British actors are baddies in films, because they're
Aye.
softly spoken and thingy. But he thinks it's perfectly plausible and rational, everything he's doing, which is scary.
Aye. It's very The Governor and The Walking Dead.
Well done. Aye. You know who that is, don't we?
Oh yes, it's a bad man.
Yeah. That's his brother in real life, isn't it? No? It's one of his brothers. Aye.
It might be. Aye, it could be. In fact, now you said that.
Mm-hmm.
But aye,
He's an Eccleston.
he's good in this because again, I forgot he was in this. No, I mean it's. Cause see, this must have been running about when he was playing Doctor Who. I know, or it might have been after this. Know what I mean?
Aye.
Rock star Doctor Who.
Right enough.
So,
yeah, he's good money, the boy.
aye, I can kind of see his points, but it's also fucking very wrong, isn't it? Because I mean, we see it as the soldiers are bad, right? They went off the deep end, as some people like to say. Swimming pool enthusiasts say that. But aye, he and once they've all been killed, sort of thing, and Jim and that go to escape. He's like, you killed my boys. Know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, bang. And you kind of go, oh, aye, they were your boys there, eh?
You broke my little mirror. Aye. He's a maniac, but he's convinced himself that he's no. But again, as well, it's good that when Jim does go Tonto, they all get their comeuppance in the most heinous way. The first thing Jim decides he wants to do when he finds a gun is shoot the shackles that are holding that infected soldier, just letting him run through the house. No, taking into account they might run into the lass's room, you know what I mean? But it just lets them run through the house.
Aye. Oh, let me the final act, so to say, is tremendous because the lighting and all that, the music, it's all high tension and freaky, but it's no fucking overly dramatic at all. If you know what I mean, it's just everything does what it's supposed to do. You know what I mean? But
Definitely.
aye, but I will say one thing, right? No, I was going to ask you this, and you brought it up. Jim
Okay.
caving in the Wayne's heat. What is the point? Does he get in there? He's prove to see if he's able to kill one of these things. What is it?
Well, he was looking for the cheeseburgers, wasn't he? And he was taken aback by the little shillelagh boy there. I probably know what the point was for us as film goers. It was to prove that Jim gets it. You know what I mean? Because there's other films and other programmes that we've mentioned already where Jim wouldn't have got it yet, or he couldn't have killed a wee boy, and Selena would have come in and done it for him and told him to get a grip. This isn't a game. You need to toughen up. So it never happens, but it showed us that Jim was willing to do what he had to do. The weird thing was that he never mentioned it when he came out. Do you know what I mean? He only mentioned it to Eccleston later on in the film, but he never told Selena or anything like that, which was weird. Don't know.
Well, so that's what I was kind of wondering. It was like, right, so you've just put yourself in harm's way. And I'm guessing it was just because it was away and it was supposed to be kind of harder for Jim, but it was just merely, why? Was it just, again, like maybe you've just explained it, but Jim's capable of doing this now, know what I mean? To help us in the next bit where he has to kill soldiers and all that sort of thing, know what I mean? So, but I just thought it was a bit
the man
removed to begin with.
Walked in there, a baby wipe, and came out sandpaper. You know what I mean? That was the Jim crossover arc. Do you know what he did come out with it? A fucking cheeseburger. Fucking looking forward to a cheeseburger there now.
One of the microwave ones, the ones that came in the wee white paper bags.
By the way,
brother.
28 days later, I'm sure a Rustler burger could have survived that. Couldn't have?
Aye. There'll be a couple of things that fucking make it through the apocalypse. Cockroaches, fucking radiation, and Rustler burgers.
Aye. What's the other thing Americans always say? Twinkies in it?
Aye, Twinkies. But,
let's go and find a Twinkie factory.
I was watching this last night, right? And my brother came in just at the end where everything's off. Hunky-dory. Jim, Selena, Hannah survived. They're up in Scotland and all that. And they're putting out the big hello sign, right? And I couldn't, because Jim's wearing a red jumper at the time, right? Couldn't have held it back, right? I says to my brother, do you know what that reminded me? And he's like, what? Remember Art Attack? Oh. When he made the big, massive fucking pictures?
Aye. And at the end, because that was the colour of the jumper Neil Buchanan wore and all, wasn't it?
Aye,
and at the very end of every single thing he done, try it yourself.
Aye.
No bother. Ma, where's the sheets?
I'm just like that. Just awaiting our memory in me. See when he's making that and he gets salt and he's drawing a wee line and it must be about the size of a fucking pencil, and I'm like, how do you know that's making a difference?
Aye. Brilliant. I like that.
Oh, fucking.
So let's talk about the end, mate, right? Brilliant when they're into the taxi and open the back door and he's just sitting there. That gave me a fright. But they don't draw it out, didn't they? Know, very quickly, Hannah just manoeuvres the motor, reverses it into the back, and he gets dragged out the back window, so he gets his. Excellent. But this is all after Jim's been shot. And then, was it the day? They crashed, didn't they?
Aye. And it's very train spotting, like when they jump out the cupboard. So I've deduced that Train Spotting and 28 Days Later are in the same universe.
Tell you what, there's some of the same actors are in it as well.
Aye.
The Scottish soldier, he was the guy at the funeral, wasn't he? Talks about toxoplasmosis. But we just get a very brief 2 seconds of Selena basically saving his life, didn't we?
Aye.
And then it's birds singing tranquil, and we end as we start, and Jim's just woke up, which I thought was for the first time he's just woke up. But obviously it's no, because he knows the plan to run out with the sheets and all that. But see, when she's sitting at the sewing machine, she's not there, and she's you're possessed looking.
Well, see, apparently, you know how the bit in the hospital where you kind of see them saving Jim's life? That was the original ending, that Jim died in the hospital.
Right.
But then they changed it because, I don't know, must have been test audiences didn't like it or whatever. You know what I mean? So, but I just found it very fucking hilarious that they're up in Scotland and there's just these 2 poor bastards dying on the bridge. They're not infected, they're just hungover.
They didn't know how they were going to attract the attention at the aeroplane. Then Kincaid appeared. Let me show you this sewing machine. Welcome to Scotland.
Jet pilot flying by that. What does that say? Hello there.
I like killing the infected with the old ways. Brilliant, man. I get back and listen to that. That's a great episode we did. So, all in all, mate, anything else you want to touch on about the movie?
No, I'm just, again, I'll ask if they were to revisit this film, do you think it would work well? Or is this, again, another one that should be left the way it is?
Well, I think with the third instalment coming out, I think that kind of tells you they're not gone. But what I would be interested in is a re-release of this digitally remastered. Do you know what I mean? With the camera being touched on, so it would be more pleasurable to view. I think, again, we know now there is scope for remakes and reboots of films, but this one's pretty all right where it is. I think I would like to have it 4K digitally remastered.
28 weeks later, it's no film like this. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you're kind of getting what I'm asking for anyway, but I'm just curious because it's one of the things that it's such a well-liked film. It's obviously got a bit of a following in that now, and it just seems, would it be one of them for them to revisit? Maybe better effects and more, like a better camera, so to speak. But
I get you. I'm for leaving it, but for leaving it, just get a touch.
For leaving it for 28 years at least.
I'm going to watch 28 weeks later. Fuck it. In preparation for 28 years, that's going to be interesting. Is it Danny Boyle doing that or not? No.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I know Cillian Murphy's back on board.
Oh, he'll have killed staved in a few babies' heads by that time, 28 years later, you know what I mean? Wonderful sees we Ginger Bobby.
Well, we'll see, I know. See, it kind of gives you signs as well. See that you think that this is all around the world sort of thing. You think that the whole world's a way to fuck.
I don't.
But then you see planes and stuff.
Aye. I did. Like, our characters did. And then we Scottish soldier opens his mouth saying we were quarantined. And then Jim, after being knocked out, looks up and sees a plane, the chemtrails, and I'm like, I can believe the rest of the world would quarantine us. Do you know what I mean? We're an island.
We're an island.
Aye. Island at the end of the day.
Should have made us impervious to fucking COVID, but here we are.
But then Selena does mention, or is it Mark before Selena chops him up that says about before the radio signals went down, there was reports for Paris and New York. But I know. I believe that we've been left to eat each other.
Aye. Well, talking about 28 years later, the way 28 weeks later finishes, it's no just in Britain, so to speak. So I'm wondering if it's more a World War Z scenario in this new film coming up. But
Aye.
we'll just need to wait and see.
We will. Looking forward to it. Do you like
Yeah.
it?
No, it's just dark here.
All right. So there we go, folks. That was 28 days later, 2002. Danny Boyle, another banger for him, definitely. What'd you get out of 10,
Aye.
Chris?
I'll get an 8. I'll get an 8.
Good score,
I
mate.
was
Good
going to get
score.
a 7 because of the camera, but now that I've read that it was on purpose, I'll get an 8. What about yourself?
I was a 7, but I'm bumping it to an 8 after watching it again, because I like you. There's nothing really to pick it other than a bit of visual graininess, and the story's strong, the dialogue's good, the moments are silent don't feel empty, and there's no really any dead space in it. You know what I mean? It's a right good film. It's a right good start to a franchise. It's done well in the box office. It's British made, and we've got some of our favourite actors in there. You know what I mean? So it gets an 8 for me, mate.
Aye. That's a good outing for the 28 there.
That's a good outing. 2 8s, 16 out of 20. What did you think, guys? Let us know in the comments and the sections of all our social platforms, because not a lot of people have seen this in maybe 15 odd year, 20 year. I don't know. But I think it stands up very, very well. And it's got me excited for the next instalment and the future instalment. So, aye, very, very good, mate.
Well, like yourself, I think I'll be watching 28 weeks later as soon as we finish there.
Aye.
So
aye, that's a good shout, that. So we'll both have watched that next time we're podding.
Aye. Plus, the opening scenes to that are fucking phenomenal.
Just can't remember anything about it. Cannot remember anything about it. So I'm really looking forward to it now. So there we go, folks. If you liked it, like and share. Please share it with everybody. Share it with somebody that you think's deserving of such a beautiful listen and watch. And equally, send it to your ex or somebody that you're physically abused in the past that you don't like, just to annoy them. We don't care, because as always, the best advertising is word of mouth.
And before we go, it's movie bingo there. Movie bingo, movie bingo, movie bingo. Hey, movie bingo.
Yes, love a jingle, love a jingle. We'll maybe put them to music in the future. We'll see what happens. Right, my man, I'm not going to tell you what's no there. So 2 to 50, what's happening? Or 2 to 49, because you picked 50, didn't you? You did.
So I picked 13.
You have not.
Well, we'll go with 13 because I like 13. It's an unlucky number, but it could be lucky now. What are we doing?
We are doing Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, I've not watched that in fucking. Well, how weird is that? How fucking weird is that, by the way? We're talking about how we've not watched Star Wars in a while. And boom.
I don't know if we've done that off camera, but we were talking about it before we went live and talking about it quite ad nauseum, how we've not watched it in a while. So, brilliant. Looking forward to that. One of it's the best at the prequels for me. I'll talk more about it next week and tell everybody how many times I went to see it in the pictures and fired for my job and all that because I went to see it, and just all sorts of goodness. Boswell will like that. He'll be getting some popcorn in.
No, of course. Aye, any excuse to watch Star Wars, know what I mean? Not that we fucking need excuses, but aye. I just found that how fucking weird was that? That thought about it and knew we've picked a Star Wars film. That's
in fact,
one for the books, that.
Is I'll reach out to friend of the podcast, Christian Hayden Christensen, and see if he's interested in listening to this. I know what he'll say. He'll just come back. Is it possible to learn this podcast?
Not from a Jedi.
Do it.
Oh, mate.
General
Aye,
Kenobi, you're alive. Oh, it's Master Yoda, isn't it? Master Yoda. Anyway, we'll keep all that for next time.
Aye.
In the meantime, again, folks, thanks very much. Thanks to Native Origins and, of course, Quaint Band as well. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for any announcements on both fronts, musically and fashion-wise. All righties, but I'll not draw this out. It's a good night for me.
Aye, and good night, and sleep tight, and don't get butt by the infected.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
The views and opinions of this podcast are solely our own, with no direct intention to offend or upset.
Brilliant. Fucking brilliant.